Okay, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, welcome to this video. Inshallah, I'm going to try to answer a question. Hopefully, more than one person will benefit from it. That's my wish, and hopefully that happens. A sister asks a question about her autistic child and performing ruqya on her child, i.e., he's a teenager and coming close to being an adult. How to do ruqya to somebody who's suffering from autism. And understandably that somebody who's suffering from autism can be physical, and it can be quite strenuous to deal with somebody like that. And other things that happen usually, the person who's suffering from autism can become aggressive for a reason or another. And people who actually deal with autism, i.e. the parents, the nurses, they would know more than actual Daraqi himself when it comes to autism. But concerning ruqya, inshallah, I would like to answer the question like this, using the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ that Aisha radiallahu anha narrated in Sahih Bukhari and in Muslim, that the Prophet ﷺ, before he would go to sleep, he would recite on his recite Qul Huwallahu Ahad and Falaq wa Nas, and blow in his hands and wipe over all his body from what he can reach. So the Prophet ﷺ performed the ruqya on himself, and this is something that was an everyday practice, that he would perform ruqya on himself. So as Muslims, we should be applying ruqya to ourselves on a daily basis, and we shouldn't neglect it, as there are many illnesses that we need to protect ourselves from, or many afflictions that we need to protect ourselves from, and this serves as a protection. As ruqya is a protection and it's a healing, as the scholars say. Now, you'd give your hands like so, and you'd recite Qul Huwallahu Ahad and Qul A'udhu Falaq, the whole chapter, and Qul A'udhu Nas, the whole chapter again, and blow on your hands, and you would wipe all over your body. And you can do this for your children. So if your children are young, you can perform ruqya on them in the morning and the evening, and even more if you want. There's no restriction on how many times to perform ruqya, and there's no restrictions on when you should perform ruqya. So concerning somebody who's like an adult, sometimes this can be a little bit complicated, where they might not like you touching them. They might feel offended. They might get aggressive when you do so. You have to, when you perform ruqya, not make it into an issue, so they don't start fighting against you and starting to rebel against what you're doing just because they want to. Not because you're reading the Quran or because you're doing ruqya. It's just because they just want to react in a certain way. Either they like it or they don't like it. And I've seen this with autistic young adults. If you're pleasant with them and you don't have any any bad intention or anything that might suggest something's going to happen to them, they will start getting scared and they will start reacting in a negative way. So it's very important for you to be calm and be very tranquil when you're doing the ruqya. Secondly, if you can't wipe over their body, then what you can do is blow on them. Again, this could be quite disturbing to the person who's suffering from autism, so it's best maybe do it when they're asleep. So you can do it when they're asleep, before they wake up, and you could do it when they're asleep, just as they fell asleep. So you don't cause any anything that's disturbing to them, that's out of the ordinary. Or you can do ruqya to them and maybe give them a gift, give them a treat, and then perform ruqya on them before and after. So this way you're training them to experience ruqya in a pleasant way, and they don't start fighting or swearing or doing things that's unexpected, and for you that seems very strange, and you then start translating that to demons and devils and so on. Now, can they still be possessed? Can they be afflicted? Yes, there's no doubt about that. But that's not the issue. The issue is we do not want to encourage the person who is suffering from autism any more suffering by making them nervous and making them react in a way that you suspect them to react because they are possessed. Because you believe they're possessed, they'll react in a certain way that you think they're possessed, and then things become out of hand. So it's best always to ignore the possession part and treat them as your child, your loved one, and carry on doing that way. This you this way you will achieve more, inshallah billah. So just to recap, number one, if you are going to perform ruqya on your child, is to do it in a way, in a manner that is pleasing for them, and reward them before and after. And this way they will enjoy the ruqya. Second, if you find that it's going to cause a problem, then do it while they're asleep, before they wake up, and before or after they go to sleep. So two things: before they wake up, and when they go to sleep. As they fall asleep, you can wipe your hands over them for them to benefit from the ruqya. Another way is to perform ruqya on their toiletries, like their shampoo, their creams, oils, and so on. And this, inshallah billah, will be helpful. Further on, you can perform ruqya on the water that they drink, and you could even perform ruqya on the food. So the oils that you're using for the foods, you can blow on the food and asking Allah Azza wa Jal to heal and to protect your loved ones. And I hope, inshallah billah, I've covered as much as I can concerning this. And if I've left anything out, inshallah billah, I hopefully will cover it on another video. But I would advise strongly is not to pay attention to any forms of jinns, demons, or spirits when it comes to autistic children. Even if they are possessed, even if you believe 101% they are possessed, try to avoid this, because this only increases in the problem. It doesn't help the problem. The best way to deal with this is to perform ruqya and leave it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I.e., you perform the ruqya, like you blow on them, and you leave it to Allah. And assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, until another video.